No, but talking about modeling, and that was Don Fabio said, well, now we're going to have this prize, and I think that I have two possibilities. You have to meet these two candidates, and then I said, well, I really would like to, and then that was one of the most important hairdressers from Terni, Emiliano. Who really is really spectacular, and also he's a very good professional. He cut hair very well, and he lived in town. But the other one was somebody from the part of my family which is Abruzzi, which Don Fabio knew, because Don Fabio also is from Abruzzi in Italy, you know. So, and this one was driving the train from Rome to Perugia. So I said, because he also was a very good candidate.
The hairdresser or the train driver.
Anyway, then obviously I sketched them both, and of course we went for the hairdresser. And
how big is he from head to toe? I don't mean in real life. I mean in because
6 meters approximately.
So where does the scaffold come? Because you must have moved up and down.
Well, yes, the scaffolding was this machine that was up and down. That was up to 10 meters or 12 meters. But then from there, they have to bring another machine that was placed right center in the middle of the cathedral, like a massive what do you call this?
Crane?
No, yes, it was a crane, and with this kind of sort of thing, that little box like that took up to 20 meters high or 24. And then I was there with one of the maquinistas and the one below, so I lived with these two men for 2 weeks non-stop, and they have families as well, so I'm sure that it created a lot of trouble.
It must be incredibly difficult to I mean, presumably you start at the top.
It was very difficult because I was up there in a box not bigger than this, and with all my palettes and my little things, not very much. And then there was this man who, you know, after half an hour looking at me painting, he fell asleep. And there was this constant battle, Luigi, and you know, now let's go to the left, but make the job rather much easier, because would be a proper scaffolding, it would have been more difficult and also impossible, given the time. This work have to be finished by at the time by Easter, because there was this presentation of the whole thing. So I have a really deadline. We can continue.
Ricardo, sorry, one little thing. Well, did you have to keep coming down, moving back to look at your picture, so getting off your scaffolding?
But this I know what you mean. This is part of the thing that you can explain, because you got to do things here and there to be seen from underneath. You have to imagine what would be to look right from there, roughly. I don't know if you answered the question.
So you didn't actually go back?
No, except that I have to go, I cannot go every 10 minutes downstairs, because it's impossible. So you have to work the whole day, and then when you go downstairs, you have to do few corrections when you come up again, and you have to remember what to correct. And but basically it should be okay, because the difference with this fresco that you do it, you do it one for all.
And that's it.
And that's it. And it dries, and the end is there. But in this case, it was nearly there, given the time, given the immediacy of the whole thing, and the pressure that I have. So have to be done here and there. I didn't have much scope and time and space.
But you could correct, you could change, you can go over, you could.
Yes, but
Not like the fresco.
in this case, I was very lucky, because I was almost transformed that I have to be very precise and very certain on the approach generally. They didn't have no room for error.
Did you do any form of drawing on the wall to give you location points? So
Yeah, there were a little. Yes. With how you call it? Charcoal. Yes. Of course. But that again, the proportion is not very easy, and I have to have some reference from underneath. That for sure. At least to know where things are, points of reference, and then you go on with the carbonilla, and then go with the painting. So this again is describing the Christ.
Yes.
Here, so on.
But
And then this is what Brian was
if we
talking.
go back to that one, can you, how long is a brush stroke?
No, there is no brush stroke here, because the brush, as soon as you put the brush onto the wall,
it's gone.
it sucks
Yes.
the whole paint.
So you have to, if you're starting the long line like that, you have to work it as far as it will go,
Yes.
and then recharge the brush and bring it
Yes,
on.
and then you go to play with the cloth and to wet to the point that you have to see how many minutes or how many seconds the wet of the linseed oil and turpentine would be roughly in the surface to the oil to be pushed.
Did you have to scrap any part of it and do it all again?
No, except in the other group of people that one day the Vescovo came, this is enough, this figure cannot be in the church, which was really, was a serious, because I was taking away, I was giving quite a lot of license, and I took advantage of that too much, and then at some point he said, no, that not. That have to be changed. And then I have to almost, I think that I covered the whole thing and I started all over again. But this one figure, that there are two figures almost making love, but they're supposed to be this kind of more than carnal, this love for each other.
Good. Let's go on.
Well, this is one of the group.
Shall we go up to the top? But you see what I mean about the connection with Signorelli. It is quite astonishing how you pick up the same mood, particularly the resurrection.
Yes, in fact, I didn't see many times Signorelli. I saw once or twice, no more.
Oh, it's wonderful.
I have to pay
It's wonderful.
another visualization. This is the Vescovo being held by the poor, and the next one is the other one. Go back.
You want me to go back?
Yes.
Sorry.
No, just to indicate another. Okay, this man here, which is a little thing saying love, is the priest that commissioned me to do that, and is Don Fabio Leonardis, who died last year. Very sad, because he was a spectacular person, intellectually.
So there are three portraits. You're in it, and the Vescovo and Don Fabio.
And also
And the hairdresser.
and the hairdresser, but also is a great friend of mine who died as well last 3 years ago, called Eric Elstov, and he is there as well. Anyway.
Did you put yourself in?
Yes, he's somewhere. He's downstairs in hell. Some people, as you see, they are wearing Prada. Others are having all sort of devices. This guy here, yeah, that's I copy because Terni is not very fantastic, but they have the best shops in the world. I can tell you, all these brands. And this is the other. This is the other side. And in fact, the correction was this area here that I had to correct. And then we finally we come to this really high up, which are all these angels receiving and greeting this arrival. And this is the Jerusalem Celeste. Now here I have also a problem because the Vesco was very cross because he was coming to see that, and he said, but really, you know, this is purely Muslim town, you know. we have to do something about that. So I did some modification of this cupola and all these the things, and I put crosses everywhere. And, no, but whatever, you know, but whatever is that this is very interesting. I did that. I was really in a hurry to do this. They are the walls of the city. They are all very impressionistically done. Men and women forming this wall. That it looks quite interesting on situ to see that with some you know.
They're protecting it.
They are protecting. Here we are. One or two, not very much. And this is, as you see, you know, this the city, and and then we are, of course, we are arriving right to the top now. And effectively, you are right to.
Here you can see how it's cut out and silhouetted against the window.
Yes.
Is it in relief that on top of the, or is it flat?
Uh,
Painted on top of a coat of arms?
can hear.
Or relief, relief. Is it or relief?
The hand, it's a cutout. It's a cutout it's been painted in a board, and then behind have this structure, the board, and then it's been attached to the coat of arms of this. It wasn't my idea to cover this coat of arms. That
Very well.
they decided to put the hand there, and I said, what happened with this beautiful ornament? And they said, don't worry about that.
I see. Oh,
Well, anyway, no, because that was other things, you know.
so I thought we might run through a few other things that may be familiar on that screen.
Might we see the head price?
Can you go back one? Because that's the most famous object in English art, of the religious art in the 20th century, the Graham Sutherland tapestry. And that goes even further back than you do. Your Quattrocento references are quite modern compared with that sort of Byzantine approach, very hieratic, with no depth, nothing to it. I'm never sure that a tapestry is an answer to anything nowadays. It seems a weak response. Let's go on. All right, we'll stay with that. Right, I think, any other? You've done it. Right, well, we've seen that, so we've dealt with that, and we've seen the Signorelli, and the bronze doors aren't going to help, so let's leave it at that. Any questions?
What was people's reaction when they saw it?
Well, some people they were reacting very, very strongly, especially with the Christ, because the wind and the situation like that, it appears that the covering it goes as to show that he's a man and he has. I don't know if that creates a lot of trouble with some people, and they were coming to me and they were shouting at 8 o'clock in the morning or 7:30, you know, saying that I should be treated like that. So when they become a little bit aggressive, I went to Il Vescovo and I said, listen, I think we have a little trouble here because people are coming and say that, how can I do Christ with this? indication of this manhood.